Tracking can be incredibly motivating, but not all tracking is created equal. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the different types of tracking that there are in language learning, like habit tracking or time tracking, what they're really good at, and what you shouldn't use them for. I've gone through phases of tracking literally everything, but I've also had phases where I didn't track anything at all. Currently, I'm somewhere in the middle, and of course, I will show you how I'm currently tracking my language learning at the end of this video. Before we get into how tracking can be useful, let me give you a quick rundown of the two types of tracking that there are. Most things we track can be put into one of two categories. Either they're countable or they're binary. And then there's various ways to combine those two, but I'm not going to go into all of that. Countables are things like time tracking, page tracking, chapter tracking, where you have a concrete number that you can put on the activity you're doing, and as time passes, you can see a change in that number. Binaries, on the other hand, are more of a yes-no type of situation where the focus lies on just doing the activity at any chosen capacity, and the exact extent is not that important. Which of those two you want to choose depends on what you want to achieve with tracking. Binaries are, per definition, a little more simple, but they're nonetheless great for example, habit building. When you're trying to, let's say, build a reading habit, in the beginning it doesn't matter that you read X number of pages every day. What matters is that you show up. Binaries can also help on low energy days and with decision fatigue, as they take away the pressure to perform and reward you for just showing up. In our reading habit example, you might be really tired at the end of a day and not want to read at all. But because the barrier to entry is so low, you might as well just quickly grab your book and read 2 or 3 sentences. And on some days, that's it. That's all you're gonna do. You close your book and you go to sleep. Other days, however, you might end up reading another sentence and another one. And before you know it, you've read 5 whole pages, more than you ever intended to read on that day. Countables, on the other hand, can get a lot more complex. They don't have to, but the sky is the limit. But they're great for informing your actions and course correcting over time. Because let's say you want to improve your accent, for example, and you look at your tracker app and realize you only spent 20 minutes last week on accent exercises. Given that information, you can now readjust your study schedule to better align with your goals. This retroactive approach is great to keep you grounded in reality and adjust your expectations accordingly. But countables also serve as a great base for mini projects, milestones, and goals. Let's say you want to read 12 books this year. That is 1 book a month. And assuming the average book you read has around 150 pages, that is just 5 pages every day. And just like that, you created a very actionable plan to achieve your big goal. And at any time during the year, you can check how you're doing. I think it has become pretty apparent that there are some benefits to tracking, from habit building to informing your actions to setting more realistic goals and timelines. However, that is only the case if you're not sabotaging yourself with your own tracking. So here are a few last notes on tracking. I've said this many times before, but tracking is just another tool in your toolbox. It's not inherently good or bad. It's what you make of it. With tracking binaries, for example, you run the risk of just settling for the bare minimum every day. You see this in the way people treat their Duolingo streak, just doing 1 exercise right before midnight. Obviously, that's not how they're intended to be used. And at some point, you just gotta be honest with yourself and acknowledge that this no effort, bare minimum thinking is not gonna get you anywhere. Stress is another factor not to be underestimated. Sometimes we set long-term goals, something comes up, and we fall behind, and are now constantly playing catch-up. Seeing your word or hour count constantly lag behind what it should be can cause a lot of stress and frustration. It is okay, even encouraged, to recalibrate as you go. Finally, tracking does not automatically equal progress. Sometimes seeing a number go up can feel like progress, but what's equally, if not more important, is how and with what we fill that number. Collecting words and minutes can quickly turn into a trap that shifts your focus away from interacting and engaging with the language to just accumulating stats. And last but not least, because I know you're all itching to learn about how I am currently tracking my languages, let me give you a little tour. I'm currently using two apps, the Loop Habit app and the Refold Tracker app. In Loop, I'm tracking my Dutch and Korean. For Dutch, I have a countable immersion goal, 150 minutes per week, specifically audiovisual immersion because my reading is already cracked, and two binary goals, an output practice goal, 3 times a week, and a grammar study goal, also 3 times a week. For Korean, I also have a countable immersion goal, 300 minutes per month, and a binary sentence mining goal once a week. As you can see, I am not even close to hitting any of my goals, and there will be a massive change coming to these pretty soon. You may wonder where my Japanese is. For Japanese, I currently only use the Refold app, and in it I track how much time I'm spending on different kinds of activities in my languages. It's especially nice because I get these stats that give me an overview of what my input-output split is for Dutch, which has been helping with readjusting my schedule and the activities I do. I hope this video cleared up some things about tracking. Let me know in the comments if you're tracking your language learning. If not, why not? If you do, let me know what you're tracking. And if you have any nice stat pages, heat maps, graphs, send them to me on Discord or Instagram because I like those things a lot more than I like to admit, and I promise I will hype you up.